The next Healing Our Spirit Worldwide Conference will be held in Vancouver, Canada in 2022. Will you join us? Hello, my name is Tlesla II, Dr. Evan Adams. I am the Chief Medical Officer for the First Nations Health Authority. Our organization is hosting the conference, and we invite you to gather with us on the beautiful traditional territories of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations. These are 3 of the more than 200 First Nations in the Canadian province of British Columbia. Together, we form 26 cultural groups and speak 34 Indigenous languages. We hope you can join us in the spring of 2022, where together we will share our stories and celebrate the power of our collective knowledge and wisdom. The story of Indigenous people in Canada is the story of many Indigenous peoples around the world. It's a story of thousands of generations rooted in our relationships to each other, to our culture, and to our land. It's also a story that involves colonialism, exploitation, and discrimination. This dark time in Canada's history has been widely described as an attempt at cultural genocide. Fortunately, our story is also a story of survival and resilience. In British Columbia, our First Nations leaders decided that one way to support healing and wellness among our people was to take control of our own health services. Our First Nations came together to envision a health system by and for our Indigenous peoples, a health system with a focus on wellness rather than illness. They formed the First Nations Health Council with a goal that was nothing short of transformation.
Oversee the transformation of the health system, make progress on the social determinants of health, and advocate. That marching order set out clearly in this work. The vision statement for the First Nations Health Council is healthy, self-determining, vibrant BC First Nations children, families, and communities.
Healing from those decades of trauma, understanding the vision of the First Nations Health Council, and someone chuckled and said, "How did vibrant get in there? What does vibrant mean? Somebody who's vibrant? There's light around them, or coming from them. They're not lost in shadows."
With this vision, the First Nations Health Council created the First Nations Health Authority. It was the largest self-determining decision ever made in Canada. We are the first and still the only province-wide Indigenous health authority in Canada. Guided by the vision of embedding cultural safety into health service delivery, we are working with our health partners to reform the way healthcare is delivered to BC First Nations people.
We want to draw upon our culture, our ceremonies, our rituals, our beliefs, that when we need medicine for our spirit, it's also medicine for our body, our mind, and our heart. But when we need surgery, we want the best surgeon that we can get. So ideally, we want the best of the 2 worlds in which we live. And so that's the work of the First Nations Health Authority. Find that way of supporting nations achieve the recognition, respect, practice of Indigenous cultures and spiritual practices together with modern medicine.
Income and social status is a determinant of health. Social support networks, health services, health practices and coping skills. Culture is a determinant of health. When we actually understand our language, we know how to govern. If we want healthy people, then that's what we need to focus on.
Our communities know what's going to work. We can do better for ourselves.
Self-determination is everything to the health of an individual, a family, a community, and a nation. Because without it, someone else is controlling your life.
All of us move forward, become self-determining in that true sense. Our real role is to actually help change the world. And that allows people to make their own realities at home.
One of the biggest things I look forward to is understanding how we all look as vibrant people.
At the First Nations Health Authority, our journey is just beginning, but we know that we're on the right path. We hope you can join us in Vancouver in 2022, where we will tell you more of our stories and hear your own. It is with pride that we welcome Healing Our Spirit Worldwide back to Canada, where this Indigenous movement began in the 1980s. While we have our unique languages and traditions, we all share a deep connection with the ocean, rivers, mountains, forests, and wildlife. Our ways of life are shaped by the rugged and diverse geography of this beautiful land. We look forward to sharing our territories, our cultures, and our learnings as we work with you to shape a healthy future for the world's Indigenous peoples. We'd be honored to have you join other Indigenous leaders from around the world with a shared vision for healing our spirit worldwide.